Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be making this little mallard duck together. So let's get right into it. For this duck I will be using 4-ply 100% acrylic yarn in 4 colors, as well as a little bit of scrap yarn for the eyes. I will also be using a little bit of stuffing, a 3.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker. Starting at the top of the head in our green yarn, we're going to make a magic ring with 6 single crochet in it, as well as an anchoring stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull the string tight. Now we can put a stitch marker in. You can put it at the top of the stitch, but I like to put it on the side of the stitch. And then move on to round 2. For round 2, we are going to increase in each stitch around the magic ring, which is 6. So we're going to increase 6 times around the magic ring, which should look something like this. So now we can move our stitch marker up and move on to round 3 of the head. For round 3, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch and then increase in the next for a total of 6 times around the head. And I will meet you guys back when I finish this round. It should look something like this. Now we can move up our stitch marker. And for round 4, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then increase in the next one. And again, we're going to do this 6 times around the sides of the head. Just like that. Now we can move up our stitch marker to this round. And from here we're going to go to round 5. For rounds 5 and 6, we're going to single crochet in every single stitch around. So no increasing, just single crochet. And we're going to do this for 2 rounds. And I'll meet back up at the end of round 6. Here we are at the end of round 6. This is what your mallard's head should be looking like. Now we're going to move our stitch marker up and head right on to round 7. For round 7, we are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we are going to invisible decrease in the next. I prefer invisible decreases, but you can also use normal decreases. So now we're going to do this 6 times around the head. Here we are at the end of round 7. We can move our stitch marker up. And for round 8, we are going to single crochet and then decrease, whichever type you want. And continue this around the head. And don't single crochet the end tail into it. We're just going to put that in there. And I'll meet you back at the end of round 8. So I'm here at the end of round 8, and what I forgot to write down on the papers is that we're going to color change at the end here. So we're going to continue our decrease as normal, pull up the loop, and then grab our white yarn for the little white collar and yarn over with the white yarn and pull through both. So you now should have a completed decrease stitch with your white, with your white yarn ready on the hook. So now we can move on to round 9. For round 9, we're going to do something called front post single crochet, is where instead of going straight into it and yarning over, you're going to go into it and then, and then come out again so that you go around the post and yarn over and pull through it, and yarn over and pull through both. So it's like a single crochet, except you are going around the post of the stitch. Do it one more time. And we're going to do this all the way around the neck. And I'll see you again at the end. So here we are again near the end of round 9, and I have again forgotten to write down the color change. So now we're going to color change to our brown yarn. You should have 2 loops on your hook still from the last front post single crochet, and then you're going to pull your brown yarn through those last 2 loops and ready on your hook. So you should have 12 white stitches around the neck. And now we can move on to round 10. For round 10 in our brown yarn, we're going to single crochet 2 and then increase in the next stitch. And do this all the way around 4 times. And your duck should be looking like this by the end of the round. Now we can move our stitch marker up and continue on to round 11. For round 11, we're going to chain 4, 3 and 4, and single crochet 3 down the chain, starting in the second chain from the hook. Just like that. And now we're going to single crochet 3 and increase for the rest of the round. And increase. Just like that, we're going to repeat that 3 more times around the body, which should look something like this. Now we can move our stitch marker up and move on to round 12. For round 12, we are going to single crochet in every single stitch around the body of the duck. So no increasing, no decreasing, straight single crochet. And I'll meet you guys back at the end of the round. And here we are again. You should have 26 stitches in your round. Your tail should have been a part of that as well. It should be curving up a little bit. So now you can move on to round 13. For round 13, we're going to single crochet 2 and then decrease at the top of the tail. Like that. And then we're going to single crochet in the rest of the stitches, all the way around the duck's body to the end of the round. Here at the end of round 13, your duck should be looking like this. We're going to move our stitch marker up and continue on to round 14. For round 14, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then decrease at the tip of the tail. Then we're going to single crochet 3 and then decrease 2 times. Just like this. And continue on one more time. Just like that. Then we're going to single crochet and then decrease 2 times as well. And then for the end of the round, we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches and then decrease. Just like that. Now you can move your stitch marker up and head on to round 15. For round 15, we're going to single crochet and then decrease all the way around the body. So you're going to continue this the rest of the way. You should have an extra stitch at the end of the round, and you're just going to single crochet into that. Now we're going to move our stitch marker up and move on to the last round of this duck. Before the last round, we first need to stuff the duck. So we're going to take our stuffing, and first we're going to stuff the head as well as we can. So you just want to keep squeezing everything and testing it until you're happy with how stuffed it is, making sure to stuff the tip of the tail as well because it is easy to miss. I have stuffed the head and I have half stuffed the body, and I will stuff it the rest of the way after this next round, but I will probably not show it on camera, so I'm saying it right now. So now we can move on to our last round of the body. For round 16, we're going to decrease all the way around the body, closing it off. At least most of the way. You will again have an extra stitch at the end of the round. You are going to slip stitch into it, and then you can cut your yarn with a little bit of length, but not too much, and take out your stitch marker. Then you're just going to pull the yarn through the front loop of each stitch all the way around. Just like that. And then pull it tight. So that it closes off the hole, and then just pull the remaining yarn into the body. Like that. And then you can cut it. Need a better pair of scissors, apparently. And there is your finished body. For the beak, we are going to be using surface crochet to make it, so it is not a separate piece. So you will need the body of your duck. Using your yellow yarn, you want to find the center of the front of the duck and count 6 rounds down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the 6th round, you want to insert your hook into one of the rows, or the 6th row, and pull your yellow yarn into it. Now you can chain 4, and you're going to skip 2 of the chains and single crochet into the 3rd. Then we're going to slip stitch into the stitch inside the duck, just like that. And then we can cut it off and pull it out. So it should look something like this. And now I will just quickly weave in the ends, just like that. And now we can move on to the last piece, which is the feet. So now you can set the body of the mallard aside for now. And for the feet, we are going to make a magic ring with 5 single crochet in it. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and pull it tight. And then slip stitch into the very first stitch that you did, so that it is a circle. So it should look just like this. Now you can cut your yarn with a little bit of a length so that you can sew it on. And so there is one. And you're going to need to make 2 of those. Just like that. So now we are going to very quickly assemble this duck, which basically means sewing on the eyes and sewing on the feet. So for the feet, for this one, I put it on the bottom, but I have one made that I did it with it on the front. But I personally like the bottom, so I'm just going to stick with that. You're going to make sure it's in the place you want it to be, and then pin it there, just like that. And then you want to do the same thing by pinning on this one, just like that. So now I'm going to sew these on real quickly, like so. And now I will just quickly sew the eyes on, and your duck is all done. And there is your finished mallard. If you would like to get a notification whenever I make new videos, just like, subscribe, and hit the bell down below. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye!